Hello. Welcome to The Play That Changed My Life. This is Patrick White, brought to you by Harbinger Theater and OSM Studios. This is our 20th episode. I picked that up at camp. I learned things I learned over the summer. And we have a fantastic episode to celebrate our 20th. With me today is Selma Fabregas.
Fabregas, yeah.
Fabregas, nice. And Jaynie Parmenter.
Parmenter.
So we're off to a great start. Sorry about that. I should have checked beforehand. I'm like, I'm all agog. I saw a picture on Facebook this morning, and it was this place that I used to work at, Cortland Repertory Theater. I've done a few shows there, and there's this little girl, and they did Beauty and the Beast, and it's like this, 5-6-year-old looking up at Belle, and like can't believe that she's in the company of Belle, and that's how I feel today. Jaynie is in the middle of a run of Mary Poppins up at Fort Salem Theater. I saw it on Saturday night. And Selma is in Legally Blonde at Cahoe's Music Hall, put on by Playhouse Stage. And I saw that last night, and I'm still buzzing. Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a fantastic achievement, both productions. How's it feel to be in the middle of the run? You've got the opening night through. You're in the groove, and are new things still happening?
With us, there's always a little bit of adjustment as we go, just because we do have children involved. So there is some things that we need to finesse to make sure that the show runs smoothly. But this past week we've had off, so that's been lovely to just kind of
so rest. You had the whole tech and massive week, and there was some AC issues, so
those are back and running.
No, it wasn't terrible, but so you got through like a hellish week, and you're back tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Excellent. And Selma?
Yeah, I mean, moving such like a big show to the music hall was definitely a big adjustment at first. Our show's been running pretty smoothly, I'd say. There was like an injury, and then last night we had somebody out, so there's definitely been a few adjustments to be made, but everybody really works together as a team, so it's been really great. Yeah.
Both productions, I have to say, large casts,
yes,
big productions, both coming in, well over 2 hours, and a lot of moving parts, very complicated in some respects, and you're both pulling it off. Both your production teams, your directors, are doing a fantastic job. I got to say, with Legally Blonde, that just the polish and the execution of the scene changes, and everything seems to be running. That someone was out, I'm like, what did they do? Because whoever covered for them did an excellent job.
Yeah, everybody was like very eager to be like, they did this, I'll do that. Like everybody really was working together, and we figured it all out within like 15-20 minutes.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that fun? Yeah, and pulling off challenges like that. Yeah. What's the challenge like the night without AC? Was that a challenge, or was that just like, I hope
the run you saw was a tough night for everybody. The AC being out, and then specifically for some of us, I know for myself, I'm wearing like actual wool clothing.
Yeah.
So I was
beautiful.
Thank you. A lot of that was like made by my grandma, actually, from the first time I did Mary.
Extraordinary.
And it's really lovely to have her with me during the show.
So sweet.
It was that. It was like some things with moving. We have this dollhouse kind of thing.
Yep.
That will shift to show the outside of the Banks home and then the inside. And that has always been a little wonky at times, just because it's so big and you don't want to like hit the proscenium.
So that
is definitely a challenge. And I think that night we were just kind of, with everything compiling, there were a bit of tech issues, but we all
Yeah.
we got through it. So.
Yeah, I love things that move, but casters are tricky, tricky subjects because and the houses that they had second stories, and there were a playing area on the upstairs floor, so these weren't small structures, and they had to be sturdy with a set of stairs, and and how many casters are on them there?
I think the only people who actually go to the second floor are myself and the kids who played Jane and Michael Banks, and then George and Winifred. I think they're the only ones who really go up there, which is good for safety. But the rest of the cast will play like on the bottom.
Yeah. Excellent. So I wanted to start out, and we have these two fantastic productions of these women characters, Elle Woods, Mary Poppins. Down the hall, we have Tina Turner. And over on North Pearl Street, we have Carole King. Alice by Heart just closed at SLOC. All these women leading musicals. Do you think that's a coincidence?
I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I'm all for it.
Me too.
Women power.
Yeah.
And
we always need a little more of that, I'd say.
But a week and a half ago, we have a woman running for president now.
Yes, we do.
I think it's something.
Yeah, there's something going on. I wrote on my Facebook post, "The future is female. Run, Elle, run." So the sequel. President. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Blonde ambition. I want it. I'm all for it. So are there? Have you done other roles where you're leading? Your character is leading the play, like you're.
I would say this is my first where I'm really.
There aren't many.
Leading. Yeah,
I mean,
I would agree. Yeah.
But coincidentally, there are 4 in the city right now, in the region.
Wild. I mean, I played Mary before, so that I mean, I don't know. Does Wednesday kind of run that show in Addams Family? No. Okay, then no.
No.
Like Mary Poppins.
Yeah, not like Mary Poppins. So then, no. I think this is the.
Of course,
role,
the sequel will be Wednesday.
Yeah.
But is there another woman role that you can think of that you would love to take on that is the sole focus of the show?
I mean, I'd love to play Mary Poppins.
Oh.
I definitely would love to do a more classical soprano.
Do you want to swap?
Let's do it.
Wow, you heard it here. This weekend, very special. Bring in return customers. I'll go see both.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Yeah. The challenge, there's it's like miscasting, or not miscasting, but it's swapping. Yeah, we're going to swap roles this weekend. Talk about challenges to your cast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I sometimes feel like when you're up against it, though, like when you're feeling a little low, with a cold or something, or, it gets your energy up and your adrenaline to, really, you can't sleep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That it challenges you and sharpens your performance in some respect. Okay. That's the way I feel. But all right. So Jaynie, you did this role before, and that was in high school?
Yeah, that was my senior year of high school, so 2017.
Mary Poppins at
Voorheesville
High School, and your director was
Robert Whiteman.
Oh. Yeah, I know Robert. Excellent. And that role, you were a finalist. You competed in the Jimmy Awards for the first time. Proctor's hosted an area. Talk about that.
So that was the first year that Proctor's did the High School Musical Theater Awards, and our school was a part of it. We opted in. And from that, I won Best Actress. So from that, I went to the Jimmys. And then at the Jimmys, I was just a nominee. so I didn't make it to like any of the final stuff, but it was still an incredible learning experience. And it was lovely to meet so many other phenomenal actors who have now gone on to like be super successful, which is awesome to
Yeah.
see.
So your group there, and there's 40, 50?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people.
Yeah. And you spend a week or a few days?
It was, I'm trying to remember back. I think it was just a week. But our days were like long, like 8 a.m. to maybe like 9 or 10 at night. And we'd have some lunch breaks and stuff, but it was all very structured. So if you were in like a production group, you would, meet. And then we had these classes that we would take with Broadway professionals. I was with Randy Graff. And we kind of workshopped our songs if we were to get into the finalists. So I worked on that song from Your Good Man Charlie Brown, the one Sally sings. Why are
Popular?
you telling me? My new philosophy. Sally Brown.
Yes.
Love her. So I workshopped that song with her. But it was just really, really cool, the experience. So.
Excellent. And did you watch this year's? I saw the finalists. Like,
I didn't get the opportunity to watch this year's. No.
yeah, it's an incredible. And there are many people who came from the Jimmy Awards, right? Andrew Barth Feldman and
Renee Rapp. Oh, she's incredible.
Yes.
Talk about a leading woman.
Yes.
Like,
what's
She's that
she been
girl.
in? I'm sorry.
Mean Girls. She
Okay.
was Regina George
Yeah,
and
like right after high school.
Yeah, and then she did the movie recently as Regina
Okay.
again. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah. Who was the woman? Michaela Diamond. Did she go through the Jimmy Awards? I think she was like plucked out of high school. Like the woman who was
Yeah.
in Parade and
Mhm.
Yeah.
Daddy Longlegs too. I'm pretty sure she was in.
Yeah?
hmm I don't know if she was a part of the Jimmys. I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
But
I just thrown
she's
it
incredible.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I yeah, she is incredible. So Selma, you've been with Playhouse Stage.
Yeah, I have since my freshman year of high school. I started auditioning a little bit before then, but wasn't having much luck. But other than that, I've really just done my school shows. But I started with Little Women at Playhouse Stage during their like streaming season. I played Amy, which was a lot of fun. And then I've gone on to do pretty much every show they've offered me since. But yeah, this winter I did the best Christmas pageant ever, and that was a lot of fun because my little sister was in it too, which was really sweet to just get to do a show with her before I go to school in the fall. And then I did Spring Awakening and I played Ilsa, and now I'm doing Legally Blonde this year. But yeah, this is my 12th
Congratulations.
show with Playhouse Stage.
Congrats, that's incredible.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
4 years.
Yeah, I've definitely done a lot in that short amount of time.
And where do you go to high school?
I just graduated from Shaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you do shows at Shaker as well?
Yes, I did. I did Mary Poppins my sophomore year, and I played Mrs. Corey. And then I did Damn Yankees, and I played Meg Boyd. And then this year I did Grease, and I played Marty, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where did you go to school, Jaynie? Did you go on
So
after
school,
Voorheesville?
I went to AMDA
Okay.
in New York.
Yeah. And where are you going?
I'm
Selma?
going to Cortland in the fall.
Oh,
Music
Cortland.
year,
I've heard
yeah.
of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. I had a friend, Josh Mullen, who had a goal to do 50 shows before he left for college.
Wow.
Yeah. And he did it. He did it. He
Whoa.
was like, yeah, I think he started when he was 13. But, you know, the number of opportunities in the area, that's incredible. And 12 shows with Playhouse Stage. That's
It's been so much fun. I love it. Yeah.
and you are owning the stage now.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're so great. And Jaynie as well is just incredible. The professionalism, the stature that you both bring, you just naturally come out, and the show is yours.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's really great. I was, I was so proud to be, in the Capital Region theater community with these two productions. I just think it's amazing. So you're studying theater at Cortland?
Yeah, musical theater BFA at Cortland. I'm very excited. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Again, I worked at Cortland Rep,
Yes.
and there's a bunch of people, I'm sure, in the theater department. Mark Reynolds is in the costuming, so you can say hello. He directed me in Born Yesterday. What first attracted you to theater?
You want to go first?
I was asked to audition for the 5th grade musical at my elementary school when I was in 3rd grade, and it was for Aladdin, and I went in, I cried through the whole audition, and they just gave me a part because I could not get up and sing. And I just had done like whatever my school offered me throughout elementary school, middle school. And then when kids in my grade had started to audition for stuff outside of school, I was like, okay, maybe I should try this out because I'm enjoying it now. Might as well like take it a step further. And I auditioned for like the Playhouse Stage season that year, which was like Annie and whatever. And I ended up getting cut and I was like heartbroken, but then ended up like going to go see the shows and was like, wow, I need to be a part of this, and just made it my goal. But my whole life, I grew up in Albany. My mom would take me to see the shows in the park every summer, which was just fascinating to me. So once I got into it, the ball started rolling and I just kept going. I just love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You were in 3rd grade and asked to audition for the 5th grade.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I don't know why. I can't recall why, but me and like 5 of my other friends, they were like, do you want to be in it? And we were like, sure, we'll audition. And then we were all like the little narrators. It was a lot of fun, but I don't know why I was asked to do it, but I appreciate it.
Well, you've got such a bright personality that just radiates. I can imagine, as a little girl that you must have had it all along. So they just wanted that.
I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Hey, it was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Did you have to audition for Cortland?
I did, yes. I auditioned at like Unifieds in New York City at Ripley Greer, which was crazy weekend. Lots of auditions, but it was a lot of fun. And
tell me about that. Unified. So a lot of different schools come.
Yeah. So I was in the city for the weekend. It was like the end of January and I was all over. I was at like Open Jar, Ripley Greer, and then I was one other place. I don't really remember. It was everything kind of just meshed into like one.
Sure.
But my mom was there with me and such a big help. She's not very into theater, I'd say. Like she doesn't have any background in it, but she is my biggest supporter and really has been there for me through everything. But that weekend was a lot. Lots of things were being asked for like differently, like 24 bars, 16 bars, 32. Like I kind of had a lot of like switching around to do. They didn't have enough time for 2 songs, so I had to pick one. It was a lot of like, let me just kind of figure it all out, but ended up working out very well, I'd say. I got into a few schools and I ended up picking Cortland. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Start in the fall, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not far from Syracuse and great. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And AMDA, how did you choose AMDA?
So AMDA was not the first stop on my college journey.
Okay.
I actually started at the University of Vermont and initially went for music education. Quickly realized that was not for me. So like 2 weeks in, I switched to their theater program. They didn't have musical theater, but when I did their theater program, they had this awesome costume class. I will never forget my professor. His name is Martin Thaler. He taught me so many things about how not only costumes, but color theory and just the way things are made up can affect not only the performance, but like how someone stands, how someone portrays a character. So that was awesome to learn, and also how to sew and draw costumes, which has been very helpful in my theater experience now. But once I left there because I had gotten a little sick, so I had to come home. I had always had AMDA on the back of my brain, and one of my very good friends went there. So I looked into it more, it definitely took some convincing for my family, like PowerPoint presentation as to like why I should go to this school. But end all be all, it ended up being a really good experience, and I'm really grateful that I had my time there. Very intensive program, like eat, sleep, breathe theater.
Yeah.
But I think it proved very valuable.
Now, do they have dorms?
They do. They are definitely Matchbox dorms.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised. I
Yeah.
don't think they had dorms when I was when I was in the city. But that's great to
Yeah,
hear that,
yeah.
Matchbox in Manhattan is pretty much par for the course.
Yeah.
As long as you get, a nice clean Matchbox.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But-
And I mean, the amount of time that we were really spending in our dorm.
yeah,
compared
sure.
to-
That used to, really frustrate me about friends. I lived in the city for 13 years. I'm like, who lives like this? You don't just, you see your friends at work. You see your friends in class, in rehearsal. Like you don't just like walk across the hall and, hey, let's, and in this palatial, apartment anyway. My age-old resentment about how Manhattan is portrayed. So you graduated from AMDA. What kind of degree do they have?
So they give you like a certificate of completion or like an associate's.
Yep.
But you can do their like 4-year program if you wanted, which is then you go to LA to complete your BFA. For me, I was kind of just set on staying in New York and trying that game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I graduated like literally a month before COVID hit. Then I was in the city. Yeah. So at that point, I kind of was recalculating like, all right, what do I need to do to keep myself sane and still artistic? So I kind of dove into, that's where the writing music and visual art stuff kind of came in to supplement a bit of the theater that was lacking.
Yeah. So you started writing music during the lockdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like your first song.
Yeah. I started really playing a lot of piano, kind of teaching myself guitar and ukulele, just things to pass the time that were already like, fueling my soul.
Sure. Other people were baking bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like being loud in my apartment.
Yeah. That's great.
Thanks.
That's incredible.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And then you moved back up here. When did that happen?
That happened, I want to say maybe 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, okay.
And I think I had my fill of the city. I also think that it's so easy when you're there to kind of lose sight of like why you're there when other things are paying for your apartment and your bills. So I felt like it would be good to touch base, recollect myself, and kind of see what opportunity lies here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. So.
Yeah. I woke up, I lived in the city for 13 years and I never was, not rehearsing or in class. I had plenty of creative, things to do. Friends would write plays and things like that. But I was unsatisfied in that, I wasn't getting to the next level, or it wasn't, you were doing showcases for your friends, and nobody else. And it was just like a grind. But when I moved back home, I didn't think, I thought it was over. I like gave up my equity card and said, okay, acting's done. Now what? And then it took a while for me to wake up and say, oh my gosh,
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do know.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to like kind of be like, okay, wait, there are things going on here. I think I'm going to try this again because it fuels my soul. So.
Yeah. Because it's like, why would you close that off? Something that brought you so much joy, and I quickly found that the Capital Region has all of these outlets, Playhouse Stage, Fort Salem, Voorheesville teaching. The camps that we were talking about that give you the opportunity to continue and to make theater part of your life for all your life. It doesn't have to be like the one area in which you were focused on. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I'm kind of on this loop because I'm in the middle of building a Capital Region festival of theater. There's going to be a 4-day festival in June of 2025. And, so this is part of my spiel.
Yeah.
And we're having a cast party on October 27th at Cahoe's Music Hall.
I saw that. Yeah.
Owen Smith has offered the building, and we're getting light fare from area restaurants, but there's going to be performances, and I want it to be Owen's going to program it. He knows much better than I how to do a musical show, but kids, students, from 8 years old to 80 years old, like you can make theater. The Capital Region is a great place to have theater in your life, your whole life long. So the cast party is going to be a benefit. Please come. And I kind of feel like it shouldn't be that difficult to move home, to leave, to study, to, you guys are so well prepared for, Cortland and AMDA. And it's like, I just think like we need to celebrate and promote all of the ways in which you can, get your theater on in the Capital Region. And so that's my spiel.
That'll be awesome. I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people will really enjoy that.
Yeah, I've thought about it for a long time, and there's over 90 theater companies in the Capital Region. There's 8 colleges, 5 of them with theater majors. There's all these camps, all these opportunities for kids. There's the 26 school districts. So anyway, thank you for indulging me as I go off on a little side. That's what I've been doing with my summer. Selma, thoughts about New York?
It's definitely where I want to be. That was definitely like my plan for I really wanted to go to school in the city, but then I quickly realized that's definitely not my best financial decision ever. I was waitlisted at NYU, which was like my dream for forever since middle school. It's really where I wanted to go, but I started to think a bit more rationally, and I think I need to get through school and then see how it goes. I mean, of course, I want to be on Broadway. That's my big dream, but I do know that there's so much opportunity literally everywhere to make theater, and that's really what I love. I don't care where it is. I just like good people, bringing a good message. That's really what I want to do.
Yeah. Excellent. I had my principal of elementary school came to. I don't sing, but I had the only non-singing role in Carnival in high school, my first show. And the principal of my elementary school came and wrote a letter to the cast saying, that performance was as good as Broadway. And I was like thinking, I'm not sure about that. But, it's sort of like this feeling that you have that there was this whole discussion about professional and community theater and where theater is coming from. But it's this feeling that you have as an audience member. I was going to go down to the city yesterday to see a 2-show day. I was going to go see Notebook, and I was like, oh, there are too many things I have to get taken care of at home. Too many things that have backed up. So I was able to see Legally Blonde. And it's this feeling you have as an audience member of, this has grown in my town. And, all of these students have been educated, nurtured, and this is what we produce that, I'm so glad I saw it. Yeah. So there's my feeling. we're skipping ahead. But what Broadway shows have you seen and loved?
Miss Saigon had a really big impact on me.
How old were you?
I was in high school.
Was there a
The
revival?
yeah. Ava
I don't remember.
Noblezada.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh my gosh, it was just I loss of words, but watching that was incredible. Loved that. Wicked, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's one that I hope to at some point.
Yes.
But yeah,
Which role in Wicked?
Glinda.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I saw Hades Sound right before COVID with the original cast, which was insane. But since then, I haven't been back to see a show in the city. It really has just been for like college stuff. But that show was incredible. Also, Wicked, of course. That was my first Broadway show. It was insane.
So you were down for a weekend of auditions.
Yeah.
You didn't go see a Broadway show.
I know. I was upset too.
She had her eyes on the prize.
Yeah,
She
it was
you
just-
had
Yeah,
things
I'm
going
working.
on. Yeah,
I'm working.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
I,
need my
definitely want to see The Outsiders.
I need
Oh
my
my
rest.
gosh.
Yeah, I heard a few songs from that just yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the piece they did on the Tony Awards, that kind of sold me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. Yes.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That choreography was
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to go see it. The tickets are kind of insane, but
Yeah.
it's whatever.
just wait.
Just waiting.
Yeah, and actually it's going out on tour.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You
I'm
might be able to see that.
Yes.
yeah, you'll see it here. Yeah. Excellent. What else? You're teaching at Voorheesville and
Yeah, I'm directing at Voorheesville. I did that for the last 2 years, and I plan to continue to do it this year. And we put up the show in like the spring, and we have auditions around January. Definitely an interesting process because we have a lot of the 5th grade come out. It's just for the 5th grade. But last year, I believe we had like 76 students.
everybody gets cast?
Yeah, everyone gets cast, and I direct and choreograph, so
Wow.
a lot. But I like to be very hands-on with these things. Just I don't know. I think because I care.
Yeah. So what show did you do?
Last year we did Finding Nemo Kids,
Okay.
and the year prior we did 101 Dalmatians Kids.
Okay.
Cute.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them.
No, it's okay. It's okay. They're adorable though.
Yeah. So something I ran into because I work at Not So Common Kids Camp in case anyone doesn't know whether it was in before we started taping today. But so you have the speaking roles, yes? And then obviously with a cast of 76, there's going to be, 60 kids
Yeah.
who don't have lines,
Mhm.
So what are they doing when you're working on book scenes or?
So I try and be really mindful of everyone's time. When I call in like the leads, I won't call the ensemble to come.
Right.
But the ensemble, I don't let them get forgotten. Like they need to know that they're just as important as everyone else. So we kind of finesse different groups. So for Nemo, we made each student a different fish so that they could have their own opportunity to like shine and be in their character. And then for Dalmatians, it was like different types of dogs. So we had like corgis, boxers, poodles, and Scotties. So we really leaned into those kind of names a bit. So like the boxer dogs kind of looked like
Right.
boxers. But I think when they feel like they're being thought of and they have their own special things, it makes them feel included. So I do a lot of like kind of cast building, which I feel like is also crucial for children of that age.
Talk about that. What's a cast building exercise?
We'll do a lot of like kind of games. So before every show, and sometimes during rehearsal, we'll do roller coaster. So I'll have everyone strap on their seatbelts, and we'll and then they'll kind of follow the leader, and we'll like do loud as we're like going over the bends, and then back to So that kind of warms up their voice, kind of gets them silly, kind of gets all that nerd energy out. Lots of like fun dance warm-ups, passing the pulse, breathing.
Yeah.
Just because you don't need anxiety there. Like that can leave. They just need to be able to play.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Great. And the two of you in these leading roles, and obviously you haven't always played leading roles, but you're such bright, phenomenon, presences. You were asked in third grade to audition for the fifth grade show. What shows have you done ensemble roles in?
Let me think. I was in the ensemble of Matilda. I was in the ensemble of Oklahoma, The Wedding Singer. Pretty much every show I've had either like a supporting role or an ensemble role in at Playhouse Stage up until like The Secret Garden last summer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
For me, the first couple shows in high school, we did How to Succeed, and I was a secretary. And then we did Fiddler the following year, and I was Bielka and ensemble, so like the youngest daughter. And then I actually did Backbeard at Sage.
Oh, yes.
And I was in the ensemble for that. And then Beethoven recently at Fort Salem. I was in the ensemble. But I feel like there's so much to be learned from being in the ensemble.
Sure.
And just how to be a team player, and also just your part is crucial to telling the story.
Yes.
You learn that very quickly.
Yeah. And you can see it in both your productions as well. I loved how you talked about individualizing the characters within the ensemble. And have you felt that way in the past? Like, what you're playing in the ensemble is an individual role with a backstory and
for me personally, I don't think I always felt that way, but I think as my theater endeavors kind of grew, I then started to make those choices of like, all right, yeah, this is an actual person. We're going to make them have things that they like and don't like, which just makes it even more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. One thing for Legally Blonde, they had us do, I'm Elle, so I didn't have a lot to like reach for, but during our first few rehearsals we did a lot of like sorority game, like friendship building things, and Ashley was like, I need to know what your major is, I need to know what your favorite song is, and we all went home and we listened to like our Legally Blonde 2000s playlist, and everybody came in and was like, this is my major, I think this is my big, this is my little, like we all sort of like built these bonds. It's really sweet. But yeah, and she had us like all like tie our wrists together, and we like were using a jump rope and like making shapes on the floor. Like it was just a lot of fun, and I feel like we're all so connected now. It really does feel like a little sorority on stage.
That's awesome. What's Elwood's favorite song?
Perfect Day, of course.
Oh
That's the movie opener, but I just love that song anyway. That's on my playlist for life in general. But
excellent. That's great. In speaking about ensembles and the individual characters is something that I've approached with Uta Hagen's 9 Questions, that it's something like in when I grew up as an actor, something that was very common as far as approaching a play. What plays have you done?
I was in The Odd Couple, the female version.
Yeah.
And I played Florence Unger.
Nice.
That was really challenging. That was the first time I had decided to do theater outside of school. And I did it at the Q when I was a freshman. And whoa, it was just the...
Freshman in high school.
Yeah.
The Q Theater.
Yeah. I think I was just in shock, because usually the music like helps guide for me where we're going, and when it's just dialogue, you're like, okay, here we go, flying by the seat of our pants, and we're gonna find where we're going. But I think that's the only play I've ever done.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the experience?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It was really fun. I continue to do shows with them after that. So
Excellent. Florence Unger, I kind of see a shade of Mary Poppins in there.
yeah,
Like,
very particular.
yes, practically perfect. Yeah. And have you done plays, Selma?
I have not, but I'm looking forward to hopefully doing 1 or 2 in the fall, depending on what I get cast in. But no, I've not done a play yet.
How about your experience with plays? Do you have you read plays, seen plays?
I've seen the plays they put on at my high school. They did Clue in the fall, which was a lot of fun. All my friends were in it. It was so much fun. It just didn't work out with my schedule because I was doing the Christmas pageant and that was rehearsing at that time. But I definitely enjoy them. Lots of fun. But I'm definitely more of a musical gal. I love the music.
Yeah.
I saw Boeing on Thursday. I don't even know what day it is right now. Wednesday. Literally yesterday.
I saw it yesterday. What day is it?
I don't know. Time is
over at Barrington Stage.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was hooting and hollering. That was so funny.
Doesn't that look like fun?
Yeah. So good. They were all incredible.
The German.
Yeah. Yeah, the German.
Michelle McCluggage. I'm probably messing her name up as well, so don't be offended. I mess up everyone's name. I'm an equal opportunity messer-upper of names. The German, just an incredible performance. Just so quick, and from soft little kitteny to, Rhine Maiden, like Thor.
Would recommend one.
Yeah, just extraordinary. I think it closes this weekend. Yeah, great performance. So doesn't that look like fun?
I mean, it definitely inspires me to expand my horizons a little bit and try plays. I think that would just help me be a better actor, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in doing Florence Unger without having the music as backup, well, you said music can back you up, like it can supply, your motivation or your objective. You always have the music there. I don't need to necessarily do something. I'm singing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So without that, what did you learn about?
Not that I always have to be like on, because you always have to be on, but it's definitely, you really have to focus the entire time. You can never stray from the path, otherwise you can be at this plot point and then you've already finished the show if you mess up a line or something. So I think it was mostly just working on memorization was tough for that, but also just making sure that we're hitting those points, like along the way.
Arc.
Yeah, the arc.
Thank
you for finding that word that I could not find.
Yeah. Oh, great. Awesome. So in building your career, I'm thinking about, the people that you've worked with, right? And you talked about your mentors, the costume designer, Steve, and obviously, or Ashley, yes.
Of course, yes. Yeah. Ashley, Chuck, Owen, I mean, the whole Playhouse Stage, family, they mean the world to me. They've really helped me through so much. They've really taught me everything, as well as my teacher from school, Amy Kimbler. She's really helped me. I could not read music before I got to the high school, and she's really helped me find that more technical side, and just helped me know how to treat my voice. I don't have a vocal coach. I've really just learned a lot through her. Yeah. Okay. Everybody's always very shocked when they hear that, but yeah, and of course my mom. She's the best.
Yeah, excellent. I lost my question. Sorry. So, and you have the people that I just named and more?
Yeah. Kelly Bird is also one of my
I
mentors.
know Kelly.
She was my voice teacher for a very long time, and then continued to kind of ground me in this process whenever I'm having some kind of challenges or like am really thinking through things, she will always be the first call. And she is amazing in her way of just like not only calming you down, but also like letting you know that's all part of the path. Like it doesn't all have to be kind of blueprint the way that you get to where you want to be. I would also say Mary Abba Gleason. She was my music teacher in high school. She's awesome. But yeah, those are kind of the core. And then obviously my mom. But
yes, always give a shout out to mom. My mom was my biggest fan and supporter, and actually like picked up stuff. Like there wasn't, like I told you, these opportunities around, but the two that I did tell you about, the NIST and the high school playground at Shaker, my mom heard off the radio and said, "Hey, you should go check this out." So yeah, it was my mom my momager.
Yes.
Yeah, who pointed out, where the opportunities were and how to get around. But great. In the middle of these experiences, right? And is it how has it been exceeded your does it meet your expectations? Is it exceeding your expectations? What's it like, to be at this point, from hearing that they're doing Legally Blonde or Mary Poppins in Fort Salem, which I imagine is a drive.
Fort Salem is like an hour 20 from my house.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very lucky that other people are willing to make that drive too. So carpooling has saved my bank account.
Yeah.
But when I first heard that they were doing Mary Poppins, there was that little like sparkle, and I was like, I have to go out for it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of nerves that came with that though, because if I didn't, I knew I would have been very upset if I hadn't gotten Mary. But I gave it my all. And I guess when the process started, I didn't really have, any real expectation because I'd never worked with Kyle, who was our director before. Yeah. But it has been a magical experience. Kind of almost like shadowing him in a sense during this process as well, seeing how he directs, especially with like one of their largest casts that they've had on the stage. And the stepping into this role again has been so fun, and I almost feel more ready to play her now than I definitely was in high school, just because of my work with children and just being older. And more mature. So
sure. And Selma?
Yeah, when I found out we were doing Legally Blonde, it had been like rumored on and off for a few years, but I'm really happy it happened when it happened. Because I know if it happened a few years prior, I probably would be here. But I was so excited, and I remember I had rehearsal for my school show for Grease that Saturday when they were doing callbacks, and I was talking to my director from school, and I was like, what do I do? Like, where do I go? She was like, you need to go. I don't care. Go to callbacks, do it. And so I wasn't really sure. At the beginning of the process, I'd say I was feeling very insecure. I was like, do I really deserve this? Am I going to do good? Like, is this for me? And during our like production runs in the studio space, Ashley had pulled me into the other studio and was like, we just need to like beat this song out for Legally Blonde, like the ballad. And she was like, you aren't any of these things, but I know you're feeling a certain way about how you're doing this. You just need to use it, but just know you aren't any of these things. You're meant to be here. And that really helped me and got me to just like put it all out there. It's definitely now one of my favorite songs to sing, but I definitely was feeling a little like down about how I was doing at first, but I've started to feel a bit more confident, and my cast has really been so supportive throughout the whole process, just building me up, and I hope I'm building them all up as well. You're starting to feel there's a packed house. I know. Screaming last night. It's so easy to just get in my head. I'm like, Molly, who plays Paulette, I'm like, Molly, did I sound flat? She's like, stop it. Just do it. I'm like, ah. But
Yeah.
Of course, I'm my biggest critic, though.
Yeah.
We always are.
That, yeah. Yeah. You're tough on yourself.
I am, definitely.
Wow. Mary Poppins, I have found to be a peculiar character in
Yes.
some respects. She's an odd duck. You know, the foreignness of it is, I find it, I wasn't really a Disney kid.
Okay.
You know, and 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, it was possible to grow up without, you know, being inundated with Disney. But I've always thought she was like this peculiar character that children would find appealing because I'm like, what's fun about her? You know, I kind of felt like she was, you know, kind of prickly, you know?
Yeah. Yes, from watching Julie Andrews, you definitely get like, oh, she's a little intense sometimes, but you know, there's that balance. And I feel like, again, with working with kids, I've had to kind of pull out the Mary a bit, where it's like, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, but we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
I think that makes playing her so much fun, because the choices, though needing to be subtle, you can kind of take your own little approach and have your own little quirks and things that like are very, again, particular for her.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it shines, you know, because, you know, when you do turn on the charm, you know, it's like being blinded, you know, because you're like holding it at bay, you know, and then you're like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. It's like it's almost like she's code switching a bit throughout the entire show. Because the way that she is with Bert is very like, all right, we're friends, like we can hang.
Yeah.
But she also has to have that authority in front of the children. So it's a lot of like, it's a balance.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
L.
L.
Elle's got some code switching going on too. Or she's not as I don't think she doesn't choose. I mean, she grows into her authority. You see it.
It's definitely a growth process. Ashley talked a lot at the beginning about it being some like fish out of water type of story. I mean, Elle is definitely not the type of person you'd expect to see at Harvard Law School, but I would say at the beginning I'm definitely playing a bit more of like a ditzy, like little like valley girl, I guess. And once like I guess I'd say like Emmett sort of breaks that wall down, it does become like, okay, let me be more of my true self. I don't need to like put on a show for anybody else. Like, let me just be me, and this is for me. It's not for Warner. It's not for anybody else. Like, just do it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that pink Chanel number that she comes out with in the end, I'm like, oh, that's who she is.
Yes. I can be pink, but I can be serious too, you know?
Yeah, like I'm gonna continue to wear my color.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not gonna sacrifice that for being a lawyer, but of course it's balance.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Once again, both of you, I'm just a huge fan. Yeah, congratulations. So now we've come to the time in the program where we talk about the play that changed my life. If we haven't already touched on, what is the play that changed your life?
I mean, it's not a play, but it's a musical. I mean, Mary Poppins.
It's a musical play.
Mary Poppins changed my life. Then and now I'm like, do I have to play Mary forever? Like every 7 years am I playing her? Because I feel like I would not be upset with that. She has taught me a lot about self-confidence too, which is something that is hard, especially as an actor. So Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. Do you remember a rehearsal in high school or when Mary like clicked in for you, or a moment where you felt, oh,
I think it was the rehearsal that we were doing. Anything can happen if you let it.
great song.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We did the song, and then we went right into that scene that's right after, which is with Michael and Mary. And essentially he says, "I love you." Whew, that gets me every time. And I think that's when it really, really clicked that like you don't have to actually be perfect. You can have these like faults, even though she thinks she is. And you can get these kids to fall in love and also grow and learn in a fun way.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was torn between what I was going to say because I didn't want to be like, oh, Legally Blonde. But I really do think it is. I was also thinking, I mean, I did The Secret Garden last summer, which was such a big jump. I played Lily, which is very much different than Elle Woods. Lots of like experience at school with singing more like classical soprano, which is definitely one of my favorite things to do. And that was a lot of fun just to get to like bring what I've learned from school and from Playhouse and just like bring it all together. And I did it with all of my best friends. It was so great. But I really do think it is Legally Blonde, and it is like actively
That's okay.
just changing me. And I was a bit nervous at first to do it because a lot of my friends weren't doing it just because the summer layout kind of changed a bit
Sure.
for Playhouse, as you know. But honestly, like the people, and it's like such a wide variety of people. Like we have Patrick Ryan Sullivan, who I mean is like Broadway vet and such a great human being. And then we have some of the younger girls who are going to be freshmen or sophomores in high school, but everybody really just works together, and they made me feel so supported. And I'm so grateful to get to like tell that story every night. It's so empowering.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. So Legally Blonde is at Cahoe's Music Hall, presented by Playhouse Stage, until August 11th.
Yes.
Yes. And Mary Poppins is at Fort Salem Theater until August 11th.
Yes.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you'll share closing nights together and look up, say hi to the moon. That's great. Yeah, please go see these shows. I mean it. Capital Region Theater at its finest, with fantastic productions, extraordinary casts, really professional level, and just wonderful homegrown theater brilliance. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah.
Selma, Jaynie. I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. This is Patrick White, Harbinger Theater. Our production of Maggie May by Francis Poet. It's a U.S. premiere. Is coming up at Albany Civic Theater September 6th through September 22nd. And don't forget, get your tickets to Cast Party, a benefit for the Capital Region Festival of Theater, coming up at Cahoe's Music Hall October 27th. Thank you all, and see you in the theater soon.